Immortals Fenyx Rising is the game that Ubisoft accidentally created a masterpiece with. And I mean that genuinely. A new IP released in December 2020, right in the middle of a garbage year that basically nobody was expecting. It sold incredibly well, got one of the highest community sentiments a Ubisoft game has ever had, and 5 years later, in 2026, it's still being played, because Ubisoft actually figured out how to do what Nintendo does, but put their own spin on it. You've got a colorful open world, extensive puzzle solving, Greek mythology with genuine humor woven throughout, and game design that respects your intelligence while being fun enough that you never feel like you're being punished for exploring. Today, I'm breaking down why Immortals Fenyx Rising isn't just a Zelda clone, it's proof that Ubisoft can innovate when they actually try. The story, told through the bickering narration of Zeus and Prometheus, follows Fenyx, a shipwrecked mortal who washes up on the Golden Isle. Fenyx's brother Ligeron is supposedly dead, and all the gods have been cursed by Typhon, the most powerful titan in Greek mythology, who's escaped imprisonment after eons. The gods have lost their powers, and their essences have been stolen. Fenyx, guided by the voice of the architect, the game's AI guide, must climb Dharma Tower. Must ascend through the Golden Isle, recover the gods' essences by completing various faults, and ultimately defeat Typhon to save humanity. But here's where it gets interesting. Fenyx's brother Ligeron isn't dead. He's been working with Typhon, planning to create a poison that will kill the gods so he can become one himself and rule the Golden Isle. When Fenyx discovers this, it creates actual character conflict. There's this moment where you realize the person you thought you were saving was actually an antagonist the entire time. Without spoiling the end, the game does something genuinely clever with its narrative. It reveals that Prometheus has been manipulating events the entire time. The narrator has been an unreliable narrator. Your assumptions about Fenyx's parentage and destiny are tested. The ending suggests that agency and choice matter more than prophecy, which feels thematically appropriate for a game that gives you so much freedom in how to approach everything. The humor of them is deliberately corny. Zeus and Prometheus are constantly bickering, making dad jokes and breaking the fourth wall. The tone is deliberately light and self-aware. If you're looking for Shakespearean drama, you'll be disappointed. If you like games that don't take themselves too seriously while still delivering emotional moments, Fenyx Rising nails it. Immortals Fenyx Rising wears its Breath of the Wild inspiration on its sleeve. You have a massive open world you can explore in any order. You can climb cliffs, glide using Daedalus's wings, ride mounts, and fast travel through discovered locations. Every environment is filled with secrets, collectibles, and optional challenges. But where Fenyx Rising distinguishes itself is through puzzles. There are so many puzzles. Environmental puzzles where you manipulate the world using ability combinations. Logic puzzles involving constellations and marble placement. Archery challenges where you hit targets. Fresco challenges where you match Greek art patterns. Every type of puzzle. The Vaults of Tartaros are dungeon-like structures focused entirely on platforming and puzzle solving. They're often challenging without being frustrating. Checkpoints are generous. The game respects your time by not making you redo entire sequences if you fail at the end. Each vault teaches you about the game's mechanics through environmental storytelling and clever design. The combat system is action-focused but stamina-managed. You alternate between light sword attacks and heavy axe attacks. You have a bow for range damage. As you progress, you unlock god powers. Ares' Wrath launches enemies. Athena's Dash creates invulnerability. Hermes' Speed increases movement. Aphrodite's Love charms enemies. These abilities are essential for solving later puzzles and combat encounters. What impresses me most is how puzzles and combat can blend together. A combat encounter in a vault isn't just fighting. It's using your mobility to navigate, your abilities to manipulate the environment, and your weapons to defeat enemies, all simultaneously. It requires creativity and adaptation. The difficulty options are extensive. You can adjust puzzle difficulty independently from combat difficulty. There's a full assistance option where the game literally tells you solutions if you get stuck. For players who want challenge, hardcore options exist. For players who want a leisurely experience, casual modes remove time pressure entirely. This accessibility philosophy means anyone can enjoy Fenyx Rising.
The Golden Isle is divided into 7 regions, each with distinct visual identity and weather. The coastal regions are lush and colorful. The desert areas are expansive and golden. The volcanic regions are ominous and intense. The variety ensures exploration never feels monotonous. Phosphor, your bird companion, marks locations of interest on your map. He's adorable and useful without being annoying. The world feels lived in. You encounter various NPCs telling personal stories. Legendary enemies called champions are scattered throughout. These are optional boss fights that reward you for stumbling upon them. The activity variety is genuinely excellent. Myth challenges, specific tasks like archery competitions or constellation puzzles, are scattered throughout the world. Side quests tell self-contained stories. Treasure hunts guide you to hidden loot. Boss hunts pit you against specific enemies. None of it feels like filler. Everything is optional, but everything is worthwhile. One element that impressed me, the game trusts you to figure things out. If you see a puzzle, you don't need to complete it immediately. Come back later when you've unlocked new abilities. If you're blocked by a challenge, you can explore elsewhere. The world is genuinely non-linear in ways that modern open-world games rarely achieve. The Golden Isle itself becomes a character. You care about saving it. The NPCs living there feel like they matter. By the game's end, you genuinely feel invested in this world despite, or perhaps because of, its deliberately lighthearted tone. Ubisoft Quebec proved they could create a world worth exploring.
Immortals Fenyx Rising isn't trying to be the most technically advanced game. It's trying to be the most fun-looking game, and it absolutely succeeds. The art direction is phenomenal. Bright colors pop. The environments are varied and vibrant. Character designs are memorable without being grotesque. Enemy types are immediately visually distinct. The humor extends to the visuals. Fenyx's animations are exaggerated and silly. When you defeat an enemy, they often ragdoll in ridiculous ways. The cinematics have the Saturday morning cartoon quality that perfectly matches the tone. It's not grim dark or realistic, it's celebratory and joyful. The performance is solid across platforms. The Switch version is compressed but maintains the essential visual charm. The PS5 and Xbox Series X versions run smoothly with consistent frame rates. The PC version, as expected, offers the best technical performance. But regardless of platform, the visual identity remains strong. This is a game that won't age based on technical specifications because the art direction is so strong. One thing worth noting, some critics complained about optimization on PC at launch. These issues have largely been patched by 2026. The game runs well on modern hardware and older hardware alike. Ubisoft Quebec clearly understood how to scale our game appropriately. The UI is clean and doesn't clutter the screen excessively. The map system is intuitive. Menus are organized logically. For a game this content-dense, the interface is remarkably approachable. It's another small detail that demonstrates thoughtful design. Immortals Fenyx Rising received 3 major DLC expansions: A New God, Myths of the Eastern Realm, and The Lost Gods. Each offered different experiences. A New God focused on Puzzle Vault, pure challenge content designed for players who wanted harder puzzles and platforming. It's divisive. Fans of Vaults loved it. Players who prefer exploration found it repetitive. It's also heavy on dad jokes. Myths of the Eastern Realm introduced a new protagonist named Ku, exploring Chinese mythology. It's shorter than the base game, but maintains the core loop. Some critics felt it was derivative, basically the same game with a Chinese reskin. Others appreciated exploring rarely seen mythology in games. It's respectable, but feels safe. The Lost Gods, the third DLC, was a controversial top-down brawler where you play as Ash discovering mythology in a different way. It completely changes the camera perspective and gameplay style, which frustrated some long-time players but delighted others wanting something genuinely different. By 2026, whether you engage with DLC is personal preference. The base game is complete and utterly satisfying on its own. The DLC content is optional supplementary material. None of it is essential, which is how it should be. Some other Ubisoft games could learn that lesson. Is Immortals Fenyx Rising worth playing in 2026? Absolutely! It's a genuinely joyful game in an industry too obsessed with dark, serious narratives. It's a puzzle game that doesn't feel like a chore. It's an action game that doesn't demand twitch reflexes. It's an open world that respects your time by not padding everything with meaningless fetch quests. The base game will take you 30-50 hours depending on how much you explore and how much you engage with optional content. Every hour feels purposeful. You're constantly discovering secrets, solving clever puzzles, and learning the world. By the end, you genuinely feel like you've been on an adventure. The critical reception was strong. Metacritic sits around 79 on PC, with user scores similarly positive. Console versions score even higher. This wasn't a critically acclaimed darling. It was critically respected with genuinely enthusiastic player support. That's a rarer combination. The game is regularly 15 to 20 euros, often on sale for less. That's exceptional value for 30-50 hours of content. There's no battle pass, no cosmetic nickel and diming, no live service nonsense. You buy it, you own it, you play it. Ubisoft Quebec proved something important. You can make a game inspired by Nintendo without being derivative. You can be earnest about colorful fantasy adventure without being childish. You can make players care about your new IP by treating them with respect. In 2026, when Ubisoft is struggling with its other franchises, Immortals Fenyx Rising stands as their greatest success of recent years. The game has aged beautifully. The art direction ensures it won't look dated for years. The puzzle design remains clever and engaging. The story, while lighthearted, has genuine emotional moments. Most importantly, it's still fun. In 2026, sitting here with a massive backlog of games, I'd still recommend Immortals Fenyx Rising to anyone who appreciates adventure, puzzles, and games that don't take themselves too seriously. Thanks for watching. If you're planning to explore the Golden Isle, let me know in the comments what appeals to you most: the puzzles, the exploration, the humor, or the Greek mythology. Like this video if you appreciate games that prioritize fun over cynicism. Subscribe for more deep dives into games that actually respect your time, and I'll see you next time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go hear more terrible jokes from Zeus and Prometheus.